Good night, everyone. Johnson. I got this good and got this good all the time. My name is Irma J. Spirit Divine. I'm here to give you a word on tonight. Um, this will be about the servant girl of a Norman White. She's gonna be at the wrong place and at the wrong time. Just what God could use her. You know, it sometimes you can be at a place like Joseph was in a pit, but he was at the right place at the right time for God's plan. Just like Esther, she went there for a beauty queen, but she was at the place where God was gonna need to use her, and that's what this little girl is. She's gonna get kidnapped into a strange land, but that's the same land God want her at to help this man get clean. So her master had leprosy. Now this girl is being in the wrong place at the wrong time. After all, she hadn't signed up to be his household. She signed up to be his household servant. But she had been kidnapped to serve, in Aram. Now she had been minding her own business in her homeland of Israel, and she had heard the stories about Abraham, taking children away from their family. She heard about, this person take children away from their homeland, and now it's happening to her, and she ended up in an enemy destiny to grow up as a servant in a strange land. Wrong place at the wrong time, but at the right time. And I'm gonna start with the first one, 2 Kings 5:1-27. Now Naaman was a commander of the army of the king Aram. Now he was a great man in the sight of his master. Now he highly regarded, because through him the Lord had given victory to Aram, and he was a vengeance soldier, but he had leprosy. Now he had this disease, but it didn't stop him from his performance. He still was a great soldier. He was still serving God, doing what he needed to do with this disease. And God saw that. God said that, saw they let him in that disease, it didn't stop him. And so leprosy was one of the most feared disease of time. In many cases, incurable in its worst form, leprosy led to death. Many who had leprosy was forced out of the city into a camp, not only contagious, but unclean, unable to live and worship in a community. But Naaman still had his post, and he was a great soldier. Now I think they say his was in his early stage. So that means he was still working, still being a soldier, and most of the time when people get leprosy, they can't even worship or either worship in their community, and some end up dead, but his, I guess because he kept his health up, exercising and, being a good soldier, it didn't affect him as much. Now, bands of riders, from Aram had gone out and had taken captivity a young girl in Israel, and she was served as Norman White. Now Aram was Israel's neighbor to the northeast, but the two nations was rarely friendly term. Now the servant girl was the Israelite kidnapped from her home and her family. And that's what they normally do. They kidnapped this little girl. But it was meant to be, because God needed to use her at this strange land. Sometimes stuff might look like a coincidence. Something happened to you, but you end up here, end up there. Just like Joseph ended up in a pit, then he ended up in Egypt. That was all part of God's plan. Once he got to Egypt, that was the plan that God needed Joseph at. And that's the same with there. Even though she got kidnapped, but she ended up in the land where God need her, to notice this man to get healed. And so she said to her mistress, if only She worked for his wife now. If only my master would see the prophet who is in Samaria, now he will cure him of leprosy. Now she doing just what God wants her to do. Now God knows she knows it. She be so God knows she had the right person, because she got there. She noticed he had leprosy. And she come out of Israel, 'cause Elijah at that time, he was the king of Israel, and so she already knew about the prophet Elijah, and she said only if he can know, my prophet, the prophet of Israel, that he can get healed. Now God knows Naaman, he have leprosy and that he's about to cure him. It's not a coincidence. This servant's girl, kidnapped Aram kidnapped her and ended up in a strange land. Well, this man had leprosy. She noticed he had leprosy. God know she will have him lead him to the prophet to heal him. And see, that's what God need to use her. See, God watch Naaman, watch him with leprosy, and see that he's still working. He's still working. Most of them get leprosy. They're too weak. They can't do nothing. So God said it's about time for him to get healed. I see he ain't letting nothing stop him. He's still working. He's still doing what he needs to do. Okay, it's about time for him to get healed. I'm gonna use my child, to go over here, and I know she knows, and I know she gonna pay attention that he have leprosy, and that this was it. As soon as she got there, she noticed he got leprosy, and she know, oh, that's a prophet in Israel, a man of God that can help him. So Naaman had went to his master to see what the girl was talking about. So she running out telling everybody, so now he going to his master. His master is Arab, and he gonna find out what this girl talking about. And this girl had faith to bring this to their attention. Now the leader, Abraham, he saw God, of Israel. Now God had placed her with them for a purpose. See, he put her there for a purpose. And she went right on and noticed him. And she was faithful. No matter how humble or small, your position are, God can use you to spread God news. That was it's all about. Because all powers come from God. And so this is the way to use this girl. See, God know he got leprosy. She know he got leprosy. Okay, God said about time for him to get healed. And so God about to show his power. On Naaman with his leprosy. And this girl, God used this girl to be in the position to notice him, for him to get help from the prophet Elijah. And God can use his power through him. Now, the king of Israel replied, I will send a letter to King Israel. So Naaman left, taking with him the 10 talents of silver. Now, Israel said he's going to send a letter to him. Israel know Elijah and the battle they have running from Elijah and all this. So he going to send a letter over there. So he won't be off guard when Naaman gets there. And so back time, think about Israel King Elijah. Naaman had left and he went to the king to be healed. Now the letter that he took to the king of Israel read, with this letter I am sending my servant Naaman to you, so that you may cure him, of his leprosy. That's in his letter. Now King Abraham had sent the letter concerning Naaman with leprosy. Ain't no telling. They don't say how long he had this disease, but now he about to finally, get killed. All because this little girl get in this strange land and noticed that he had it. Now everybody know he had it, no telling how long he had it, but it takes this little girl that God sent there, Ain't nothing no be no coincidence. You might look like a coincidence, but God lead her there on purpose. Had a purpose for her to get there. Notice Naaman with the leprosy, to send him to the man that's gonna heal him. So they're all part of God's plan. Elijah had sent a message to say to him, go wash yourself, 7 times, on Jordan, and your flesh will be restored and you will be clean. Now that's the easy, simple, cure right there. All he got to do is go in that Jordan water 7 times. His flesh gonna come together and he gonna be healed. Now even though Elijah didn't come out, now he did give instruction. Wash 7 times and your flesh will be restored. And God chose to make them means by which he would use his healing power. God gonna use his healing power. And now Elijah didn't come out because there was a simple heal. So all he had to do was gonna pour food and stuff like that. So Elijah felt like he had to come out. So Elijah didn't come out, but he sent his messenger out there, to get him full instruction on what to do. And so Naaman was angry. He was angry because Elijah didn't come out. He wanted him to touch on his head and do some talking and stuff, but Elijah did not come out. Elijah didn't come out, but he did give instruction. Now the prophet Elijah had treated him without a ceremony because it was a simple mode of cure. Now see, that's why he didn't come out. He said it was without a ceremony because it was a simple cure. That all he had to do was go in the water and wash off 7 times. That was it. That was simple. So he felt like he had to come out there and do a ceremony. See, Naaman wanted a ceremony, put his hand on his head and all this, and talk that word and stuff. But he said there wasn't that kind of cure. There was a simple cure. That's all you had to do was go in the water and wash 7 times. Now the prophet Elijah had treated him without ceremony because it was a simple cure. Now the servant had talked to him, said he walked away. He was just that angry. But the servants went behind him, to get him back, so they had drove a long way. Now he want to go back home without being here. So the servant talking to him, now we came a long way. It don't make sense to go back home and then you not here. You might as well go through the process. And so so he went down, he dipped himself in the Jordan 7 times, and the man of God had told him, and his flesh was restored and become clean like a young child. Now, he finally obeyed, and he went and did what he was supposed to do. And then his flesh had came together, and the leprosy was gone. Now see, he's a big time too. He felt like Elijah didn't come out there. He felt like Elijah treated him like he was beneath, him, but he's not, he a big time, soldier, and a lot of times, Elijah don't put his hand on you if it's a simple cure. So Naaman he went away here because he had obeyed God's word and he was healed. So then Naaman and all his attendants, went back to the man of God, and he stood before him and said, now I know that there is, a God, in this world, so please accept the gift from your servant. Now, he was so angry with him at first. But since he went in that water and dipped 7 times, he got healed. So now he believed if that's a God. But so he went to his donkey and got some little gifts, and he went back to see if he could get Elijah some gifts. Now Naaman outraged when Elijah had treated him like an ordinary. See, that's what he thought. He thought Elijah treated him like an ordinary person, and he don't think he's an ordinary person. He's a great soldier. Now he wanted to be respected with raw treatment. That's why he got so angry. and to wash in the Jordan water, Naaman thought it was beneath his position. But Naaman had to humble, and sometimes we all have to do that sometimes. We is no bigger than, and see, Jesus never thought he was so bigger than anybody else. Even though he was the light of the world, he tried to be on the same level with everybody. But the Naaman, he felt like he on top of everybody. He wanted to be treated with royal treatment. And so he felt like he was beneath his position. But Naaman had to humble himself. He had to get himself together, and he had to obey Elijah's command in order to be healed. He had to humble himself because God was not going to heal him acting like that. See, one thing, God wants you to respect his property. He had to respect his property. So he had to humble himself, and he had to respect Elijah's command and instruction that he gave him. And so the prophet answered, as surely as the Lord live, whom I serve, I will not accept a thing. And even though Naaman urged him, he refused. So Elijah said, this is my job. I work for God, and we do this for free. He said, long as God live, he said, I'm not going to accept nothing from no one. I do assignment from God, and I don't get no gifts from no one. So he turned the gift down. Elijah refused, Naaman money to show that God's favor cannot be purchased. He said God's favor cannot be purchased. Because if he accept this with him, everybody else gonna want to accept money. Because see, like when you at the church and you preach, you can put a basket down there, but you can't make people put money in there because God's word is free. And when someone volunteer, you put money in the basket, that's okay. And that's why when you're a public speaker and you go to churches and schools, most likely it's free, unless they volunteer to give you something. Now the servant has stated, if it won't be for me. Now just the servant, now she getting all the credit. She reasoned, the master Naaman would never have seen Elijah for a cure. And he right, because no telling how long, he was sick like that. It took her, at least God took her to bring her over there to get him here. Because God said, but it's about time for him to get here. I see they ain't slow him down. He's still doing what he's supposed to do. And if he had seen Elijah in his spirit, and if he hadn't seen Elijah in his spirit miracles healing, he would never have been witness. He was a witness, and to the power. He was a witness to the power of God. That was power. Because if God wanted to use his power, he could get dipped in that water 10, 20 times. He wasn't going to get healed. It was God that healed him, because it was God who see him with the leprosy and still was doing what he was supposed to do. He was acting like he even had leprosy. And so never had been witness to the power of God. Now he would never have become an unmistakable living proof that Israel God among the very people who kidnapped her. So he said, okay, they got a God among them. Because he went to the king Elijah over Israel. So he's saying there's a God among very people that who kidnapped her. Abraham, he kidnapped her, but there's a God among them. And so, in other words, she trying to say that was God. People sent her to that strange land. And sometimes, God will lead some people to the place that he needs them to be at. He'll push them over there, just like he had Joseph's brother. He touched both Joseph's brother, and so they push him to what God needed him to be at. She said that was one of the people, you know, that kidnapped, you know. But she got kidnapped for a reason, for a purpose, you know. So she didn't get kidnapped to get home or get raped, you know. If that was God meant, he got pushed there for a purpose, you know. So was she in the wrong place at the wrong time, but she had changed someone's life and many other people, you know, they're going to hear that story. God had her at the wrong place at the wrong time, but she changed someone's life. She changed someone's life. No, everybody was there while he had leprosy. No one that knows nothing. Nobody don't know about God's power. They don't know nothing. God, that's why God had to send her to that strange land. You know, send her at that wrong place at that wrong time. But she had healed somebody, changed somebody's life. Changed somebody's life. You know, he was healed. No more leprosy. You know, and so was she in the wrong place at the wrong time? That she had changed someone's life and many other people to hear that story. Now, concerning certainly, she would have rather stayed, you know, near her home of Israel, but God had given her a chance to speak, you know, just the right thing. And sometimes God will put the words in your mouth, just like I said I put last week. You know, God, they had 400 prophets. God put a lying spirit in their mouth, and put a correct spirit in one of them. And he know that king was gonna listen to all four of them, and not listen to the one that was telling the truth. So God will put the right words in your mouth to speak at the right time. You know, and so he put the right thing, just the right time, and just the right place where God could use her. You know, so she was at the right place for God to use her, and God put the right words in her mouth. You know, because she knows right offhand, and then you know the Holy Spirit work in you. You know, work in it, and that's the first thing she told the master wife, because she was working for her. You know, only if he could see the man of God, the prophet of God, you know, in Israel, he could be healed. Because she knew that's a man of God that's in Israel, you know, that heal people and, you know, help people in drought and all that. She know that there's someone there can help him, you know, and God knows she know. That's why God sent her there. You know, God sent her there for a purpose. You know, for the purpose to change someone's life. Now she changed someone's life. You know, when he had went there with leprosy and he gone home clean and healed. You know, his skin was so white, it looked like a young child. You know, that just how God had used his healing power and healed his leprosy. Now, if he would have went straight home from being mad and angry, you know, telling how long God let that leprosy on him. But he had to humble himself, put himself together, you know, and speak the word of God, and went and got healed. You know, and so this is about the servants that God can use, any big or small or your position, and he can use it for his glory. You know, he got his glory. You know, he ain't just dipping that water and just got healed. That was called healing power. Because if God wanted to use his power, he could dip in there about 10, 20 times. He wasn't going to get healed. You know, he got healed because God used his healing power. You know, so this is about God can use a small thing of you or a big thing of you and use for God's glory. You know, Esther, she thought she was just being a beauty queen. God had set her there for a reason, for a purpose, you know, because God knew the situation was going to come to her, you know, and she was going to be able to go protect her or save her people, you know. And Joseph, the same way, he thrown in the pit. Then the people grabbed him and brought him to Egypt. That's just what God wanted him at. You know, sometimes we be in strange places, strange places. And we think that's a coincidence. Why I'm in a pit? You know, why, why I'm in this strange land. But God can use His work. God can use His work on anybody, and to use His power and His glory. So that's all I have for you today. Oh, now also, you can schedule Bible study. My information gonna be down below. You can also schedule Bible study. We can start from the beginning. Start from the beginning of the Bible. And we can have some real Bible study, and you have to get closer to God. Also a spiritual healing. Also you can book reading. Missing divine. You can locate missing person. All you do is send me the picture and the person name and on my TikTok account. So that's all I have for you today. And a lot of time, God have a purpose for everybody. He used anybody for situation to get His glory. Because His purpose is not going to harm us sometimes. It's just for Him to get His glory. It might feel that way, sometimes, depending on what your purpose is. Joseph went through a lot. I'm going through a lot. And sometimes you might go through a lot, but it end up, just like I put out yesterday, the weight, the weight is worth it. Because Sarah, she lied. When God said she waited a long 20-some years till she got old. She said, this is over. God will let her know. Anything is possible. God can do the impossible. And so she went through something waiting. Joe went through something waiting. And he ended up at the end, he got double trouble. Got double back. More than what he had before. Because he went through the process. It's all about that you can finish the process. Finish the process. So that's all I have for you today. Y'all have a blessed and safe night, and I'll see y'all in the next video.